Marvel just put a 7-year-old movie back in theaters and buried 4 minutes inside it that might end up mattering more than anything shown in the actual Avengers Doomsday trailer. Here's the strange part. The trailer for this re-release shows you absolutely none of it. Let's start with what's actually confirmed, because there's real news buried under all the nostalgia marketing. Avengers. Endgame is returning to theaters on September 25th under the title Avengers, Endgame Encore. And this isn't just a straight rerun. Theater listings have the runtime locked at 185 minutes, 4 minutes longer than the original 181-minute cut. That's not a rounding error. That's new footage, confirmed by the numbers alone before Marvel said a single word about what's actually in it. Co-director Joe Russo has been fairly direct about the intent behind this, describing it as a chance to build what he called a bridge from Endgame to Doomsday in a genuinely unique way. Kevin Feige backed that up too, promising a few surprises and dropping a line that's worth sitting with. Doomsday, he said, will pick up where Endgame left off, but also go back to when it all started with the X-Men. That's not filler marketing language. That's Marvel's own president directly connecting a 7-year-old ending to a franchise Doomsday hasn't even introduced yet. There's also a genuinely new piece of infrastructure launching alongside this re-release. Disney's introducing something called Infinity Vision, a new certification for premium large-format theaters built to compete with the biggest screen experiences in the industry. It debuts with Endgame Encore, and it's set to carry over into Doomsday itself in December. If you've been wondering why Marvel suddenly cares this much about screen formatting, it's largely because Doomsday lost access to IMAX screens to Dune's own theatrical run this same season. So Disney built its own premium alternative rather than compete for the same limited real estate. Now here's where it actually gets interesting, because the Encore trailer itself is a bit of a magic trick. Watch it closely, and you'll notice it doesn't reveal one frame of that new 4-minute edition. It's built entirely out of scenes you already know by heart, the portal sequence, every hero assembling at once, Tony Stark's final sacrifice. That's not laziness, that's a deliberate business decision. Marvel gets to sell the emotional weight of reliving Endgame on the big screen without giving away the one thing that would actually determine whether the new footage is worth showing up for. Reveal too much, and you undercut your own ticket sales if the payoff doesn't land the way people hope. Reveal nothing, and the mystery does the selling for you. If you've already caught yourself rewatching that trailer a second time looking for something hidden in the footage they did show you, you're doing exactly what this channel is built around, so go ahead and subscribe. Because there's one line in that trailer that might be doing more work than anyone's given it credit for. Tony Stark's own words get prominent placement here. You mess with time, time tends to mess back. That's not a random highlight reel pick. Doomsday's entire premise runs on the consequences of exactly that kind of time manipulation, branching timelines, the multiverse cracking open, incursions threatening to collapse one reality into another. Putting that specific line front and center in marketing built to bridge these two movies together doesn't feel accidental. It feels like Marvel quietly telling you what Doomsday is actually going to be about before the movie even starts. So what's likely sitting inside those 4 new minutes? Here's where it's important to slow down, because nothing here is officially confirmed, and any channel telling you otherwise is guessing. What we do have is Feige's own comment about going back to where the X-Men started, plus the fact that Doctor Doom's marketing for this saga keeps circling one specific phrase: stolen lives. Add those together with widespread fan discussion, and the most consistently floated theory is that the new footage expands on Steve Rogers' ending, the moment he goes back to live out a full life with Peggy Carter rather than returning immediately. That epilogue has always left an open question dangling. What exactly happens to that timeline once the Teva and the multiverse become central to this franchise's story? If Doom's whole ideology is built around punishing heroes for lives he considers unnatural interference with reality, an old man living out decades he was never supposed to get is about as direct a target as this franchise could hand him. Again, that's theory, not confirmation, but it's a theory that lines up unusually well with everything Marvel has actually said out loud. Step back, and the actual strategy behind this whole re-release becomes pretty clear, and it's smarter than a simple nostalgia cash grab. A real chunk of the audience treated Endgame as the finish line for this entire franchise back in 2019, and plenty of casual viewers genuinely checked out after that, missing most of what's happened across the years since. Sending the last movie a huge chunk of that audience actually finished back into theaters, with new footage stitched directly into its ending that leads straight into Doomsday, is a low-risk way to re-onboard millions of people without asking them to catch up on everything they missed first. So this isn't really about reliving 2019 for its own sake. It's Marvel using the ending everyone already knows by heart as the on-ramp into a saga built around exactly the kind of consequences that ending always implied were coming. What do you think is actually sitting inside those 4 minutes? Subscribe and comment.